So, bookkeeping, is it important? Do you need to do it? And what are the essential parts of a successful business? That is what we are going to be talking about today. Check out this video. Let's talk about some of the disasters, some of the issues with people trying to do things themselves, Fraser. What things that's in it all global scene from people trying to do things themselves, but it's not worked out?
I think there are a number of things, things that we hear almost every day at the moment. Just the fact that they're not recording information accurately, so receipts are going missing or stuff isn't getting updated because systems aren't in place. People don't have a set of procedures to follow to record bits and pieces. And it sounds really silly, but if you're missing out a couple of expenses a week or a couple of expenses a day or whatever it is, over a year, over 3 years, over 5 years, obviously that can add up to a huge amount of income or outgoings, and it can affect the account. So it's one of those kind of basic things. Get the systems in place, make sure that it's being done right, and it has to be done. I think one of the other things is correctly categorizing your expenses. So making sure that the expenses are categorized and they go in the right folder almost. So it's important that you know what the expenses are, what categories they go into, and if there are any tax implications on those expenses, then how they can be treated and how we can potentially claim any of those taxes back. I think one of the biggest kind of conversations that I hear at the moment from our teams are, especially with the new businesses that start up, is the bank reconciliation. So bank reconciliations it's one of those kind of things that everyone assumes is done by somebody else, or everyone's assuming that someone's reconciling the bank accounts, but it's one of those things that often gets overlooked and is an essential process that we go through. I think especially with new companies, sometimes businesses are started up very, very quickly. Perhaps they don't have time to open up a business account or a dedicated business account. So sometimes there's a personal account with business expenses in it, or there's a business account with personal expenses in it. And it's really important that we separate those personal expenses from the business expenses, and that we reconcile those bank accounts frequently to ensure that business is business and the personal is personal, and we can treat each in most effective way. I think as part of our bookkeeping services, we also provide payroll services, and payroll is something I think that people kind of assume is a very sort of simple, basic, and easy thing to do. And I think in logically, it sounds like it should be, but there are lots and lots of complicating factors. The biggest sort of conversations I hear having at our end are people not getting the tax codes right, people not getting the right payments made every month. There are things to consider like statutory maternity pay, statutory sick pay, share scheme payments. There's all sorts of different sort of anomalies that come into it. There are certain things that are treated in a special way. The SIC payments are treated in a special way. And our guys in our bookkeeping and payroll departments, as I mentioned to you earlier, have been doing this for years and years and years with companies of all sizes. So from brand new startups up to established businesses with hundreds of employees. And we look after all of these things in a very, very cost effective and very, very efficient way. Because especially with payroll, it's one of those things, as I say, it's seen as being, a simple thing, and everyone expects to get paid the right amount of money every month. But if you get that wrong, if you get the payroll wrong, and somebody doesn't get paid, or somebody doesn't get paid on the right time or the right amount, then it can cause huge disruption within the workplace. And for people personally, if you don't get paid what you're expecting on the day you're expecting, it can have ramifications in terms of you missing your rent payments or your mortgage payments or your bills, your utilities. It can cause real personal difficulties, and nobody really wants to do that. So I think those I think in a nutshell are some of the things that I certainly hear our guys dealing with, both bookkeeping and payroll. Those are the most common sorts of things that I think people sort of oversee or overlook.
Yeah.